Ebony, the result, let's not talk about that. Firstly, let's talk about the crowd and the atmosphere. What was that like?
Yeah, the crowd was unreal. It's certainly the loudest stadium I've ever been in. You couldn't hear a thing on the field, so it was pretty unreal, yeah.
So, and what was it like for the other players, the coaches, just the whole build-up, the hype and everything? From a spectator point of view, it was magic.
Yeah, the build-up was huge, and obviously we had 2 debutants in the match as well, so I thought it was huge, and having played over 20 games, but those girls for the first game, that must have just been incredible. But the whole week was a massive build-in, and having those girls that have come from Crows to Port Adelaide, that's a massive game for them as well, yeah.
I suppose now, we were talking about the rivalry and everything before. It's hard to talk about a rivalry when you guys have never played each other, but no doubt it's absolutely born and alive.
Yeah, it was big time. We saw footage during the week of the men's best showdown games and the highlights there, and having those players that have come across as well makes the rivalry even more real than just the historical one. It is in the women's side as well, not just the carryover from the men. So there was certainly the big build-up for that side too.
Just in terms of the result, the Crows are red hot. They're one of the best teams in the competition. What did Lauren have to say after the game?
Yeah, we do take a lot of learnings from the game. Obviously, they're an excellent side that have been a great side for years, and they've got that connection and experience after 7 seasons. So we don't focus on the result, but we do take a lot of learnings out of that game and look at the connection that those girls have after so much time together, and seeing what we've got after 6 games. And we did have some good patches and did some good things, so we do take some positives out of that.
And what about your role? How did you enjoy the experience of the day? I think you're running with Ebony for a bit of it as well. Was that?
Yeah, I started on Marinoff and probably didn't do the job I was hoping to do on her. I did spend the second half back in the back line, where I think I fell more into my natural role back there and had a bit more impact there. But yeah, even just with the big crowd noise and everything, I was like, oh, I've played a bit of footy, this won't really get to me. But it was so immersive and so loud out there that it was a completely different ball game out there. So yeah, a bit of midfield and a bit of back line.
And what about this week? Obviously Hawthorn, do you really pencil this in as a winnable game for, I know you've had that winning feeling once this season, how keen are you to get it again this weekend?
Yeah, absolutely. We see this as a very winnable game. We think it's going to be a really good game. Hawthorn are going to be hungry, we're going to be hungry. We're both going to want to get a win on the board, and we've got a lot of belief that we'll be able to get a good job done this weekend.
You match up on Marinoff. What do you take out of that, Reid? If you can stop her, you can stop absolutely anyone. So it didn't quite go to plan. What do you take from that? Yeah,
she's just a very clever, very fit player, and it's just being faster, switching on earlier. So I'll learn a lot from playing on her, different role to what I've had this season, obviously playing mostly in the back line so far. So a lot of learnings from that game and watching the review of the vision and just seeing how quick and switched on she is, yeah. That's
sort of a accountable role. How does that sit with you? I know it's not a favourite sort of position for everyone, but effectively tagging, how do you feel about it?
It's been a big part of my career, and I've done that a lot at previous club as well at Collingwood. So I think I get a lot of reward out of it when I do it really well, but it's a big letdown when you feel that you haven't done it well, and it's something that shows up on the stat sheet if you haven't done it so well. But I do get a lot of reward from it, and my teammates and the coaches really appreciate those role players as well, which makes you feel really good if you can execute it. So I do like those roles.
Is there any sort of player maybe from the AFL side that you can supposed to look to for not just guidance but model your game on? Like you played 300 games, Kane Corns is a pretty handy thing.
Yeah, there's certainly, obviously Kane Corns, there's a lot of guys who have done it, and it does go under the radar a bit. I used to watch Matt Deboer a lot. When I started off, I was at Giants, and he was there, and I'd watch him, and he was one of the only ones who at the time was just a genuine tagger throughout. So yeah, I do certainly appreciate those players a lot more when I'm watching the men's game, having tried to play those roles. But yeah, there's been some great taggers across the years to watch, and Kane's one.